In some cases, the edge the edge on which it is resting is inclined to VP, and in some cases, the edge on which it is resting, is uh, on HP as well as VP, or the other way around is the edge on one edge is on HP and the opposite corner is on VP. So I think all those cases, yeah, one edge on HP, opposite corner on VP. So these are different types of cases that you find in pentagon. So now I think we need to take up hexagon because problems that are generally asked in your IA as well as final exams, they revolve around pentagon and then hexagon. Most of the time it is a hexagon with the same combination resting on edge, resting on HP, inclined to HP, either the edge inclined to VP or one edge on HP, opposite edge on VP. So all those combinations, whatever you are done for rectangle, square, and pentagon, also apply to hexagon. So today we'll solve maybe two or three problems which involve hexagon with the same three steps that are used so far for all the problems. So let me start with the statement. So the statement of the problem goes like this. So first we'll take the hexagon resting on an edge on HP. Okay, so this is very basic, not basic, I think a next level problem. So there is a twist also. Okay, fine. So the statement goes like this. A regular hexagonal lamina of 25 mm sides is lying in such a way that one of its sides is on HP while the opposite while the side opposite to the side on which it rests, while the side opposite to the side on which it rests is on VP. If the lamina makes if the lamina makes 60 degrees to HP, draw the projections of the lamina. There is sound or so you have a hexagonal lamina of 25 mm sides, which is lying in such a way that one of its sides is on HP, while the side opposite to the side on which it rests, means basically the opposite side, is on VP. So you have got a case where one side is on HP and the opposite side is on VP. If the lamina makes 60 degrees to HP, draw the projections of the lamina. So this is the statement of the problem. I'll first show you how it looks like in three dimensions, and then we'll draw it in 2D. So in 3D, this is how it would look like. So first step would be the hexagon is on HP. So, and that too, we need one of the sides on HP and the opposite side on VP. So it is very clear that this is a case where it is resting on an edge or on a side, not on a corner. So this would be our first step. So you have the hexagon. The interior angle between any two sides is 120 degrees. And this is the step one where the hexagon is lying on HP. Step two would be, what is the inclination to HP? Yeah, 60 degrees to HP. So theta is 60. When you incline, you need to ensure that an edge, which in this case is AB, is on HP. So this is how you ensure. You have to put AB on HP and then incline the hexagon. I guess this is how it would roughly come like. Okay. So the inclination, if you want to see, you can see it in the front. If you project, then in the front view, you will be able to see the inclination. Maybe like this. So this would be B dash A dash, this would be C dash F dash, and this would be D dash E dash, and this angle is theta, whatever, 40, 50, 60 degrees. The important thing to note here is B dash A dash is on XY line because AB is on HP. The edge AB is on HP. So when an edge AB is on HP, its front view B dash A dash is on XY line. Okay. And which is the opposite edge opposite to AB? Hmm? Which is the edge that is opposite to AB? Yeah, DE. So DE is the edge which is opposite to AB. So now in the third step, you need to put DE on VP and AB on HP. That is what is asked. One of its sides is on HP and the side opposite to the side on which it rests. So the side opposite to the side on which it rests is DE, and the side which is resting on HP is AB. So AB should be on HP, DE should be on VP. That is your third step. So you need to rotate it carefully. So you would be rotating in the anti-clockwise direction by 90 degrees. So when you do so, you have to move the hexagon forward till this edge DE touches VP. So this is how the third step would look like. So you have AB, C, D, E, and F. So in this case, AB is on HP. Okay, and the opposite edge DE is on VP. Clear? So this is how you have to rotate it and orient it. Okay. And how do you know that, yes, this is what is actually happening? That AB is on HP and DE is on VP. And you also would want to know what is the angle at which it is inclined. So to see all that and to prove all that, you can take the side view. You can draw the RPP, right profile plane, and start projecting onto the side plane. So you will be getting your left side view on RPP. So this point would be what? E double dash, D double dash, looking from the left, and of course this point and this point here. Yeah. So three projections, and F double dash, C double dash, A double dash, B double dash. If you join all the three, okay, and what you will get is this angle is theta. This theta and this theta are same. Okay, if you want, you can check it out by drawing it to the actual scale. So if this is, I think in the problem it is 60 degrees. Yeah. So if this is 60 degrees, this also has to be 60 degrees. Okay. So that is your left side view. This is how the problem looks like in 3D. Now we need to solve it in 2D. So we'll do that. I hope you understand that in the second step top view, you will get a smaller hexagon. I don't think I need to tell you, but okay, I can show you that. So small a, small b, small c, small d, small e, and small f. If you join, this is the top. So you can see a smaller hexagon. Okay. Smaller hexagon is what you'll get in the second step top view, and that is what you have to reorient by 90 degrees in the third step. Now, can you tell me which is this original hexagon in the first step top view would be 25 mm, all the edges. In the second step top view, how many edges will still be 25 out of the 6? In the second step top view, how many of the 6 edges will still be equal to its true length of 25 mm?
One.
One, which one?
AB.
AB. But I think DE is parallel to AB, na? What about this? You're correct. It will be 25. But since DE is parallel to AB, and if you see in the top view, DE is parallel to HP also. So AB and DE, these are the two edges which will still be 25 mm. The remaining edges BC, CD, EF, and AF will be less than 25 mm because these four edges are not parallel to HP, they are inclined to HP. Okay, let's draw the 2D view. There things will be very clear. So, step one, XY line and all. So, you have to draw a hexagon 25 mm side. So, first thing is you draw the edge on the left. $25 mm. Small a, small b. Edge length 25. And then at 120 degrees, you can draw the other edges BC, CD, DA, and all. So, hmm. So 90, 100, 120. So at 120, 25 mm. This would be C. Same thing for D, 120. Uh, 100 and this would be F. There's another way that also you can use. What you can do is you can draw a horizontal line at the corner A and a small thin horizontal line, not a very thick one, just for construction. It should be perfectly horizontal. So at A and B, you can draw these horizontal lines, very thin lines. And then what you can do is you can take a rounder, measure 25 mm, any side, AB, BC, AF, any one of the sides you can measure. Yeah, 25 mm you can measure. Now what you can do is with C as center, radius equal to 25, you can cut this line. With F as center, radius equal to 25, you can cut this line. So what we'll be getting here is nothing but point D and point E. This is another way by construction. So measure 25. First you draw a horizontal line, perfectly horizontal line parallel to XY line at E, at A and at B. Then measure 25 mm with F as center, cut here, with C as center, cut here. Done. Join them, you'll get your hexagon. Mismatch. So you have your hexagon, first step top view, same as you had in 3D. In the front view, you know that you are going to get a line whose length you have to find out. So three vertical projectors, all till the XY line, not beyond that. So 3 points, B dash, A dash, C dash, F dash, and D dash, E dash. Measure the length of this front view and you can draw a line indicating the front view. So the length of the front view is around 43 mm. Yeah, maybe 43, 44 mm. Second step, as you had seen, the the hexagon has to be inclined to HP by an angle theta. So what you do is you have to incline the front view of 43 mm length by an angle theta. So when you do that, you have to ensure that B dash A dash, that is AB, is on HP. So B dash A dash will be on XY line. So first put B dash A dash on XY line. Then you can draw the 60-degree angle and place the 43 front view line on that 60-degree angle. 60-degree angle. Now I'll place that 43 line. Yeah. So this point would be D dash E dash. And the midpoint of this would be C dash F dash. So midpoint I would say 21.5 roughly. So maybe somewhere here. This is C dash F dash. Angle 60 degrees. Theta angle. Now you can draw the top view. So three vertical projectors from the second step front view and four horizontal projectors from the first step top view. They will intersect and give you the second step top view. So one, two, three. Three vertical projectors and four horizontal projectors. One, two, three, four. Locate the intersection points A dash and A intersect here. This is A. B dash and B. This is B. C dash and C. This is C. D dash D. This is D. E dash and E. This is E. F dash and F. This is F. Join these six corners, 6 points. You will get the second step top view. And you will also find that it is no more a hexagon in the second step top view. It is a polygon having 6 sides. And as we have seen, AB and DE, these are the only two edges which are still 25 because they are parallel to HP. The remaining four edges BC, CD, EF, and AF, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. They are less than 25 because they are not parallel to HP, they are inclined to HP. Third step, you have to rotate 90 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. So what is going to happen is AB should be on HP and the opposite edge DE should be on VP. Now we know that the top view I mean, any point that is on VP, its top view. Small e. Its top view, small e and small d that you can see here, will be on XY line. So what you do is this d and this e in the second step top view, you have to orient it and bring it here. So you have to put d and e on XY line. This is how you should proceed. Okay. So what I'll do is this D and D I'll put on, I'll rotate and put on XY line. So roughly this is what I expect. You know, E, D, roughly, not exactly. And this would be C, this would be B, this would be A, and this would be F. This is the idea. This is the idea of rotation. So rotating in the anti-clockwise direction by 90 degrees. So DE would be on XY line and AB would be below. Now I'll draw it to the exact scale. And I'll also tell you which point you should start with. Now, when I do this, I have to ensure that E is on the left, D is on the right, because when I rotate, then D will come on the right, E will come on the left. So I have to start with E. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll first mark the point E, maybe somewhere here, some distance away. So this point would be E. Then what I'll do, I know that the distance between E and D is 25 mm. So at 25 mm distance, I will locate D. So I have located D and E. Now, with respect to these 2 points, I have to locate the remaining 4 points A, B, C, and F. Okay. There are many ways you can use your rounder and you can measure the distance of these points with respect to D and E and locate. That is how we are doing. There is another way that also I can show you. For example, you want to locate A and B. We know that A and B are directly below E and D. So what you can do is you can measure this distance straight away. How much is this? Around 23 mm. Yes. So what you do is 23 mm below. Just you can draw a light line and 23 mm below at this point. You will get B. 23 mm below at this point. It should be a perfectly vertical line. That you have to ensure. Maybe here. This point is A. So I have taken advantage of this. A is directly below E. B is directly below D. The distance is 23 mm. So this is one way. Simple. Now to locate the other point F and C, I can use the rounder. Okay, you just select any 2 points and locate C and F. It's up to you. Whichever you point you want, you can select. For example, I want to locate F, let us say. So I'll measure the distance of F with respect to A and E because they are the two nearest points. So let us say E to D. So from E, I will draw an arc. From A, I'll use the same distance and cut the arc. So I got this point, which is F. Okay. Now another way, you can measure the distance from F to C. It's coming to almost 50 mm. You can see here 50 mm. So what you can do is from F, you draw a perfectly horizontal line parallel to XY line, and you have to stop at 50 mm. So this point would be C. Yeah, another way. There are different lot of methods you can use. You can use your rounder, you can use your scale. So lot of methods you can use and you can construct. Get the points. It is up to you which one you use, which one you find it more accurate, and which one is faster. Yeah, because speed also matters. I personally like to use these distance, with the scale because it is faster. Otherwise, every time you have to go on adjusting the rounder. The rounder also may not be that accurate after years of use. So it may not give you the correct results. But the scale, the distance that you measure using the scale will be accurate. That's what I've seen. Yeah, entirely it's up to you. So you can decide what you want. But yeah, it is very evident also. As you can see, hmm, this is not very accurate, if you ask me. I don't know why. It should have been slightly inside. Maybe somewhere here. Now this seems to be okay. So this is our final top view. Now draw the vertical and horizontal projections and get the final front view. So you would be drawing three horizontal projectors from the second step front view and four vertical projectors from the third step top view. So draw them. Four vertical projectors and three horizontal projectors. Now, you need to take some care when you're drawing these horizontal and vertical projectors. See, when I draw these horizontal projectors, I always take XY line as my reference. I try to keep the scale parallel to XY line as far as possible so that the projectors that I draw are perfectly horizontal. Third projector is on XY line, so no need to draw anything there. Now you can locate your 6 points of intersection starting from AB. So intersection of A dash and A. This point is A dash. Intersection of B dash and B. This point is B dash. C dash and C. This is C dash. D dash and D. This is D dash. E dash and E. This is E dash. F dash and F. This is F dash. Join all of them. This is your final front view. Now, how do you know that this is right? This is correct? You can cross check. We expect that AB should be on HP. So it's front view. Its front view, that is A dash and B dash, should be on XY line at the same location as D and D. Let us check whether A dash and B dash are on XY line. Yes, you can see here A dash, B dash is on XY line. Next, you want DE, the opposite edge on VP. So we know that anything on VP, its top view, small e and small d will be on XY line. So you can see here, small e, small d is on XY line. And most importantly, E and A dash share the same common point. D and B dash share the same common point. A dash E, B dash D. This is the proof. This is how you can verify whatever you've done is correct or not. Okay. So this is a case where you have a hexagon resting on HP on its edge or a side. Now it is also possible that the hexagon would be resting on HP on a corner, and the opposite corner could be on VP. Such type of problems also are possible, and that is what we will see now. Okay, so same, the conditions remain the same. Resting on HP, inclined to HP, everything is same. The only difference would be what is expected is one corner should be on HP and the opposite corner should be on VP. Okay, so that problem will take. I think there is one available in the book. So if you observe in these problems that we have been doing, we need not always worry about the locus method or anything. Because in the third step, there is no question of inclination. Okay, but there are problems which involve that. I think we'll take up that once we solve this problem. So please take down the statement. So a regular hexagonal lamina. of 25 sides is lying in such a way that in such a way that one of its corners is on HP. One of its corners is on HP with the corner opposite with the corner opposite to the corner on which it rests, to the corner on which it rests is on VP. If the lamina makes 60 degrees to HP, makes 60 degrees to HP, draw the projections of the lamina. So this is a statement. You have a regular hexagonal lamina of 25 sides, which is lying such a way that one of its corners is on HP and the opposite corner is on VP. The lamina is inclined to HP by same 60 degrees. We will draw the projections. So very similar to the problem that we have done, previous problem. Only difference is now we should rest it on a corner. So that opposite one corner you get another corner. And then we have to reorient it in such a way that one corner is on HP, the opposite corner is on VP. So first step would be a hexagon resting on HP on a corner. So please observe. A, B, C, D, E, F. This would be your first step. The corner under consideration is A, and of course, opposite corner would be D. So please observe how different it is from the previous case. So in this case, the edge is on the left side and the opposite edge is here. Whereas resting on corner, you have one corner on the left, the opposite corner on the right. Okay. Second step, you have to incline by 60 degrees by keeping one corner on HP. So I'll be needing this length D. So B, C, D, E, F. Now the corner A is on HP and the hexagon is inclined by the angle. So all that you can find by drawing the front view. So this is A dash, this is D dash. If I join, so this would be B dash F dash, this would be C dash E dash, and this angle is theta. Whatever, 60 degrees or whatever angle, this is the angle theta. The point to be noted is, since the corner A is on HP, its front view A dash will be on XY line. The length of the front view and the length of the median line, that is AD, this line or this line are same. Okay. Now, third step, you will have to ensure that you rotate in such a way that corner A is on HP and the opposite corner D is on VP. So you will be rotating again in the anti-clockwise direction by 90 degrees, and you will be repositioning in such a way that the corner A is on HP, the opposite corner D is on VP. So please observe how it is done. So this is D. I think this should be. So A, B, C, D, E, and F. So it's very clear that the corner A is on HP, whereas opposite corner D is on VP. And how do you know for sure? Draw the side view and confirm it. So draw the RPP, project the left side view. So this is D double dash, this is A double dash, this is F double dash, B double dash, this is E double dash, C double dash. this angle will be theta. Whatever, if this is 60 degrees, this also will be 60 degrees. Clear? And I need not tell you, you already know that in the second step top you will get a smaller hexagon because there will be sides which are not parallel to HP. You have to find out those sides, and whatever it is, you'll get a smaller shrunk hexagon. It's a polygon of six sides, and that is what you have to reorient in such a way that uh, one corner is on HP and the opposite corner is on VP. Okay, let us solve it in 2D. I hope this is clear. You understood how it looks like in 3D. If you want, I can show you the side view also in this case. Let's see. Let us draw the front and top, then we'll see. So we want a corner on the left side. So here, what you'll have to do is you'll have to start with the edge because you need a corner on the left. So maybe you have to start like this. Draw a 25 mm line parallel to XY line. This would be your first edge. Okay. And then you can start drawing the other edges at 120 degrees. Okay. Maybe from here and from here. So 120. And yeah. So you can draw at 120 degrees a 25 mm line. You can draw at 120 degrees another 25 mm line. So now you have got your corner A, and this would be F, this would be E, this would be D. Now, as I told you earlier, at E and F, you can draw two vertical lines, very light lines at E and F. Then take a rounder, measure 25 mm. Then with DS center, radius equal to 25, you can cut this line. With AS center, radius equal to 25, you can cut this line. So I guess you would be getting one here and maybe one here. This would be B, this would be C. Join them, complete the hexagon. So this is the first step, hexagon resting on a corner on HP. All edges are 25 long. To get the front view, you have to draw four vertical projectors. All of them intersect at the XY line, so you can mark the points starting with A dash, ending with D dash, B dash, F dash, and C dash, E dash. Join these points, you will get your first step front view. Measure the length of the front view, which will come to around 50 mm. Because you need to incline this front view by some angle in the second step, so we need the length. The second step, since the corner A is on HP, its front view A dash will be on XY line. So you have to keep A dash on XY line and incline the front view by angle theta, which in this case is 60 degrees. So first mark A dash on XY line, mark the 60-degree angle, and place the 50 mm line on the 60-degree angle. So this point is D dash. The angle is 60 degrees. Don't forget to locate the other point B dash, F dash, and C dash, A dash. You can use your rounder or you can simply use the scale. Anything is fine. The distance has to be correct. So I think it is around 14 mm. B dash, F dash. This also would be 14. Yeah. So C dash, E dash. So either you can use the scale and locate these distances, or you can take a rounder, measure this distance and cut it here, measure this distance and cut it here. It's up to you. Whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with, you can go ahead. To get the second step top view, you need four vertical projectors from the second step front view. One, two, three, and three horizontal projectors from the first step top view. One, two, three. They will intersect and give you the second step top view. Plot the or locate the intersection points. So A dash and A, this is A. B dash and B, this is B. C dash and C, this is C. D dash D, this is D. E dash and E, this is E. F dash and F, this is F. Join them. You will get a shrunk polygon, a shrunk hexagon, you can say, or a polygon having six sides in the second step top view. This clearly indicates that due to the inclination to HP, the hexagon is no more in its true shape in the top view. This is the apparent shape, and all these lengths are apparent length. Now, as always, I ask the question, which of these six edges are still in its true length of 25 mm in the second step top view? Or I would like to rephrase my question. Which of these six edges are parallel to HP? Anyone? Any of these edges are parallel to HP?
No, sir.
Yes. So that means none of the edges, none of the six edges will be 25 mm. They will be less than that. You can measure and check. You can check BC, you can check AB. You can see none of them are 25 mm because none of them are parallel. As you can see here, none of them are parallel. In the previous case, at least you had DE and AB parallel. In this case, nothing. None of the six edges are parallel. So all the edges, all the six edges are less than 25 mm in the second step top view. This is what happens when it is resting on a corner. Okay. Third step, we need to have one corner A on HP and the opposite corner D on VP. So A and D, A and D. So you already know this that when a point is on VP, its top view will be on XY line. So D, its top view will be on XY line. So that is our starting point. So we have to reposition this and rotate it by 90 degrees such a way that D is on XY line and A will be directly below it. So roughly this is how it would look like. Roughly. Mm, maybe A here. So B, C, D, E, F. This is how it should look like. D on XY line, A will be directly below it. So you have to rotate it by 90 degrees. Okay, now we'll keep this in mind and draw it to the exact scale. So I'll start with the point D, some distance away. Let us say here. You have to leave some gap because you need space to draw the second step top view. So leave some space, some 50, 60 mm you can leave, and mark a point on XY line. Name this as D. Now, as I told you, you can measure A to D. It is around 28 mm. Yeah. So you can locate A directly below D 28 mm away. So maybe around here. So this would be A. So whatever is this distance, 28 mm, I have located it here with the help of the scale. Okay. And then you can use your rounder, and with respect to A and D, you can find out the other points B, C, and E, F with the help of the rounder. Or else there is another way which I can show you. See, what you do is this A to D is 28 mm. Okay. What you can do is you can try to find out these intersection points here, this point and this point. Okay. So let us say that this point is around what 8 mm, and this is also 8 mm. Both are 8 mm. So what I'll do is I will locate one here and one here. Sorry, here. So I'll draw the horizontal lines here. One here and one here. Both these lines should be parallel to XY line. Okay. So what I've done is I've located this point here and this point here, 8 mm from D and from A, because this is 8, this is 8. So 8 mm, 8 mm, and I've drawn two horizontal lines parallel to XY line at these 2 points. Now all I need to do is measure one of these distances from this point to say F, what around 21, 22 mm, around 21 mm. That's it. Locate that 21 mm here. Start marking the points. First point, the distance will be same. Second point, third point, fourth point. That's it. So this would be B, this would be C, this would be E, this would be F. This is how I can locate. Okay, by using only the scale. Somebody has put the attendance and they are left. Who's that? Vishwanath Karlatti. Yeah, most of the times he does this. Okay. Join these 6 points. You will get the second step top view. in the third step. So this is purely by using the scale how you can locate the points. By using the rounder, I can also do it, but I've just shown you an alternative. For example, I want to locate C. So what I'll do is, I know A and D, so I'll take the distance from A to B. Let us say A to B. So I'll just mark an arc here, and then I'll locate the distance from D to B. Okay. Then take it here D to B. Cut it. So with respect to A and D, I can locate B, C, E, and F using the rounder. Or by using this method, scale. Find out the distance from A, from D, draw the horizontal line, find out this distance, mark it here. So this way also you can find out. So whichever you are comfortable with, whichever you feel is more accurate and fast, you can go ahead with that. But see that whatever shape you get here, the same shape you should get here. Shouldn't happen that this is small and this becomes big, or this is bigger and here it becomes smaller. No, the size should be same. The dimension should be same. This is your final front view, sorry, final top view. Now to draw and locate the final front view. So four horizontal projectors and three vertical projectors. Three vertical and four horizontal, including the one on the XY line. Now you can locate the intersection points of the final front view. A and A dash, this point itself is A dash. B and B dash, this point is B dash. C and C dash, this is C dash. D and D dash, this is D dash. E and E dash, this is E dash. F and F dash, this is F dash. Join all of them. Now, how to be sure that this solution is correct? You have to check a couple of points. First, D should be on VP. So if D should be on VP, then its top view, small d should be on XY line. You can see D, small d is on XY line. This is first. Even one more thing you can say. If D is on VP, then its front view D dash should be above XY line. You can see D dash is above XY line. Next, if you say that the corner A should be on HP, its front view should be on XY line. You can see. Where is the front view of A? A dash is on XY line, and A dash and D are at the same location. You can see here A dash and D are at the same location. And A, the top view of A is some distance in front of XY line. You can see top view of A is at some distance in front of XY line. So all these points will match. Okay. And suppose it is asked that you need to draw the side view also. Then it's pretty simple. Draw the x1 y1 line, draw the median line, and get the side view. So I'll just show you for one case how it is to be done. Other cases you can do it yourself. If at all it is asked, you can draw it. If it is not asked, don't bother. In this case, it is not. I don't think it is. Yeah, it is not asked. So no need to draw. Just for your information, I'm just showing you. So x1 y1. Draw the 45-degree line here. So this would be the 45-degree line. I think I should draw it below because I need to project. So yeah, I'll show it here. Now I'll draw the horizontal and vertical projectors onto the first I'll take the projectors from the top view, the horizontal projectors onto the median line. So projector of A, projector of F and B, projector of C and E, and of course the projector of D. So four horizontal projectors. They will intersect the median line, and then you have to project them up because the front view is on the top. So project them up. 1, 2, 3, of course 4. 4 vertical projectors. They will intersect with the 4 horizontal projectors from the front view. So 1, 2, 3, and of course 1 on XY line. Okay. So now very carefully you have to locate the side view. So let us start with A. So A and where is A? Yeah, this is A and A dash. So I think this point is A double dash. B and B dash. Yeah, this point is B double dash. C and C dash. This point is C double dash. Then D and D dash. Point on the x1 y1 line is D double dash. So you can see that pattern. And E and E double dash. So C double dash and E double dash are together. Then F dash and F. So B double dash and F double dash are together. But when you see from the side view, you will have to put B double dash in bracket and C double dash in bracket because E and F are visible, C and B are not visible. And if you join these 4 points, you will get the side view of the hexagon, which is resting one corner on HP and the opposite corner on VP. And as I've been telling, this 60 degrees theta, you can see if you measure this angle, this also will be 60 degrees. Let us check it out. Not exactly, there is some gap. Actually, it shouldn't come. Maybe I have not drawn it to scale. That is why. Yeah, there is some mismatch here. But if you draw to scale, I think you should get the same angle. So this is, and if you want to compare it with the 3D, then you can see here A double dash, D double dash, you can see this line, and you can see this. So this is how you need to draw the side view in case it is asked. Okay. So now I think I'll give you a couple of problems. Have I given any problem for assignment? I think two I've given. I'm not sure. I think two I've given na, for square and rectangle. If we refer to the notes, get something. Not given. Oh, so I've not given any assignment problem. Then high time. Okay, then let us take down some 2 3 assignment problems. One on square, one pentagon, one hexagon. Only then uh, you will practice and things should be okay. Let us start with the statement. So assignment, I'll give you some 2 3 problems. Please solve that. And, yeah, please take down a rectangular lamina. I don't think I've solved this problem. Yeah, so this would be better. Okay. The rectangular lamina of sides 20 by 30 mm. A rectangular lamina of sides 20 by 30 mm So the shorter side is 20, the longer side is 30. Rest on HP on one of its longer edges. On one of its longer edges. The lamina is the lamina is tilted about the edge on which it rests. Is tilted about the edge on which it rests till its plane surface is inclined to HP at 45 degrees. Till its plane surface is inclined to HP at 45 degrees. The edge on which it rests, the edge on which it rests is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. Draw the projections of the lamina. Draw the projections of the lamina. So it is resting on HP on its longer edge, that means the 30 edge, and it is tilted about that 30 edge by an angle of 45 degrees to HP. So theta is 45. And then the longer edge on which it is resting on HP is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. So that 30 edge, which is on HP, in the third step, you have to incline it at 30 degrees to VP. So it is very similar to the other problems that we have solved. Okay, you can refer those and solve this. Next problem would be pentagon. Hmm. So this is the reverse of what we have done. But anyway, I think you can solve it. Have we done the case where pentagon one edge is on HP and the opposite corner? Yeah, I think we've done this. That's the reverse of this. Fine. A regular pentagonal lamina of 25 sides is resting on one of its corners on HP. Is resting on one of its corners on HP, while the corner opposite to this corner, the corner opposite to this corner touches VP. If the lamina makes an angle of, if the lamina makes an angle of 60 degrees with HP, and 30 degrees with VP, draw the projections of the lamina. Draw the projections of the lamina. So it is a case where one corner is on HP and the opposite edge. Oh, sorry. While the edge, side. This is not hexagon. This is pentagon. Yeah. So there is one change. It is resting on one of its corners on HP, while the side opposite to this corner touches. Okay. Since we are dealing with a pentagon, we know that for a pentagon opposite a corner you have an edge. Opposite corner you have got edge. So that is what is highlighted here. So one corner is on HP, the opposite edge is on VP. And this particular, it is inclined to HP by 60 degrees, and this 30 degrees with VP. What is this? See, this is nothing but the case here. See, if you see in this side view, I've told that whatever is the inclination to HP will be seen. If this is 60 degrees, this is also 60 degrees. What do you think is this inclination? How much is this inclination? If this is theta, then this inclination is phi, inclination to VP. So if this is 60 degrees, then this inclination is 30 degrees. So theta is the inclination of the lamina with HP, whereas phi is the inclination of the lamina with VP. That is what is asked in this particular problem. So there is nothing that you need to do. You have to straight away draw the pentagon at 60 degrees with HP. Automatically it will be aligned at 30 degrees with VP because the remaining angle is 30 degrees. So need not worry about this. Just incline this pentagon at 60 degrees with VP. Automatically the remaining angle will be 30 degrees. Just given to confuse you a bit. Because some students may take 30 degrees with VP and do the third step. No. So it is similar to this step here. But here I think you had one edge on HP and the opposite corner on VP as you did here. But in this case, you will have a corner on HP, so it is resting on corner, and the opposite edge will be on VP. So please try this problem. The last one, that of hexagon. Hmm. So hexagon, you can do a simple problem. A hexagonal lamina of 25 mm sides is resting on one of its sides on HP. The lamina makes 45 degrees to HP. And the side on which it rests the side on which it rests makes 30 degrees with VP. Draw its projections. So straightforward problem. Hexagonal lamina is resting on one of its sides on HP. So it will be something like this. I'll just draw it in. It's already there, so nothing extra to be drawn. First step would be this resting on HP on an edge. Second step would be resting on HP on an edge, and the lamina is inclined by whatever angle. What is that angle? 45 degrees. So theta is 45 degrees to HP. So this is the second step. Third step, the edge on which it is resting, that is AB, is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. So AB, the edge AB, you have to incline at 30 degrees to VP. So it would be something like this. If I draw an extension of the third step, then this would be the 30-degree inclination. And on this, I have to place AB. So this would be A. I'll be rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. AB, then yeah, somewhat like this. A, B, C, D, E, and F. So this is the second step, and this would be your third step. So AB, you have to incline at 30 degrees to VP. Also, the question comes whether it's a locus problem or not, but I don't think it is a locus problem because 30 degrees is phi true inclination, and on a true inclination, you should get the true length of AB. So in the second step, AB, which was 25 mm, is still 25 mm because AB is parallel to HP. So this would not be a locus problem, straightforward problem. Okay. So please do these three problems for assignment. Tomorrow I'll take up the problem on locus, and maybe another couple of problems I'll give for assignment. So please solve these three problems. And for your syllabus, you have points, lines, and planes, as I have already told you. And I think the question paper will be common for all divisions. Okay, so please start preparing for the exam and solve these problems and revise. Any doubts you can ask, or else you can put your roll number and you can leave.
Excuse me, sir.
Ah,
Sir, for IA, whatever the types you solved in the class, that is enough for other book textbooks also we should refer.
no. Whatever the different types of problems that I've solved, I've covered almost all types of problems. So you can refer to that only. Similar problems, if you find in the book, you can solve. Some values may be different. That's all. Similar problems will come. I don't think anything that I've not covered that type are going to come. I've taken care. All varieties I've taken at least one example and I have solved.
Okay.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, each question carry how many marks, sir? Pattern.
Uh, Actually, I think I'm not sure. Maybe tomorrow I can clarify. Generally, it will be like 15 marks. Three questions would be given, and you have to solve any two. But
Okay, sir.
these 15 marks would be like one question will be on points. I think generally choice is given between points and yeah. So one question will be having points and lines for 15 marks. Say for example, I think points will be, I think, 6 marks, and lines would be 9 marks generally. And another question would be there, which will have the same setup: 6 marks for points, 9 marks for lines. So you'll have two problems on points and lines worth 15 marks each. Among these two, you have to solve any one. And the third question will be exclusively on planes. So I think it will be a compulsory question, as good as compulsory planes. And there it will be a single problem like what I've done here. One single problem worth 15 marks. So you have to solve two such questions, one from points lines, one from planes. Together 15 plus 15, 30 marks.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.